Hi, KG and PC Unharef. I don't know if I got the name right. If I didn't, sorry. Mm. Yeah, I mean, feel free to raise your hand, join me at the stage and we can have a conversation or post questions either in the questions channel or general. Both ways work. Mm. Yeah, so yeah, go ahead. If you have something you'd like to discuss. Oh, there is somebody raising a hand. KG, invite to speak. There you are.
First
Um,
time actually joining this way.
oh yeah. So you are now live. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm recording, the conversation, so then
Hmm.
we can post it and share it with, the rest of the community. Just
Hmm.
just to let you know.
Yep, yep. I I think maybe you can give some updates related to this week because since the last I think there are some updates to
Absolutely.
be. Yeah.
I'll happily do that. So we had recently Wilder, who joined, you could say, the ranks of strategists. Wilder was a member, a community member who already started being active in DeFIRE like middle January. Very helpful, very knowledgeable, very engaged. So he would like to spearhead the sort of the knowledge part of DeFire. So anything that has to do with content creation, articles, DeFire Academy. That's also Wilder that will be spearheading that. So we are very happy to have him to take this responsibility and then spearhead, all the developments under the knowledge category, broadly speaking. The other things that are happening this week is we are having actually closing a dialogue with a design studio that would develop a sort of a brand identity and then also all the visuals of our landing page and produce various visual assets that we could use on both Discord and our social media channels. So we are very happy of for having like a professional studio to do the work with us. I mean, very competent and skilled team, and also very motivated to sort of to work on a project like ours. I mean, they do of course branding and design of all sorts of different for all sorts of different companies or projects. So that kind of spin, blockchain and DeFi, it's also something exciting for them because they are entering into a new market, you could say. So that's this element. We are also discussing with two auditing companies or services regarding the audit of the pre-sale code. Actually, for the pre-sale, and again, I'm not an expert on the code itself, so I can only speak based on what I can understand from our engineering team. But the pre-sale code is relatively straightforward. I mean, anybody with basic knowledge of Solidity can read through it and see what is going on in the pre-sale code and how the pre-sale is going to work. So we sort of had this, or we still have this idea of either having a professional review of the code, so like a service provider that does auditing, or we could run community event where we would put some bounties to be collected if someone can point out to some possible flaws in the code. So it's either or. I mean, one of the two. we're getting some quotes from those auditors to see where we would stand, and then eventually perhaps we would ask the community, which solution do they prefer, either the professional audit or the community itself having this bug hunt event, right, and trying to do this community review of the code. So that's on the sort of on the audit. We're still exploring different providers regarding KYC. We're having discussions with different providers. We haven't really decided which one will be, or which ones would present for the community as sort of the options we are having at the table. There are, they all come with different pros and cons, more towards their methodology and or process they use, rather than anything else. So we are looking into this. Yeah, I mean, constantly developing new Medium articles, and we have also a group of people working on docs. So apart from Medium articles, we're also going to have a set of docs that explain in details how different protocols or elements of the ecosystem work. And also today we are starting like a small task force that would work on proposing like the first DAO setup, you could say, structure setup processes. So how the DAO in the early days is going to work. Here the intention is to propose something very light and simple to use, and eventually, once the governance is in the hands of the community, then the community might, decide to expand on the current proposition. You could say so you could say the existing team that would work on it will just propose like some kind of foundations for the DAO and maybe some basic functionality, but all the refinements and final direction that would be sort of decided by the community. So I would say probably this is like in short, and of course, and then there is always parallel engineering works happening on on the protocol. So that is also that is going on this week or all the time basically. So I think that's sort of like a brief summary of where we are this week in terms of like different activities, you could say, within the project.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, all the items are yeah, quite great. And especially like the audit part, uh, if we could ask that to the community, like which would be good, because in the end, it is how people trust, right, to
Hmm.
basically satisfy whatever they need. I think it's a great thing, and yeah, all the updates are exciting. How do you see the timeline from now on for the
Hmm.
upcoming weeks?
I mean, I would say the sort of the bottleneck, not the bottleneck, but sort of on what is on the critical path for, let's say, that would lead us
Mhm.
to launch is the actual visual identity. Before we sort of announce when the launch is going to take place, we want to have like the landing page with the visual assets that the design studio is going to develop for us. So because as soon as we have that, then there is like a very solid visual product that everybody can look at and understand in a basic terms what DeFIRE is about. So as soon as we have some first assets on the landing page ready, then we say, all right, so we have this, then we can start ramping up our marketing activities to promote that product because ultimately it will be like a visual product, right? That we're trying to promote. So we would start promoting that product more, and then once we have that, you could say, all right, then we can announce, all right, then the pre-sale and launch will be within a week or two from that moment. So we are think we are sort of to announce like a complete timeline. We have to fix with our designers when can they deliver this landing page. That's sort of what holds us at the moment.
Yeah, all sounds good.
Yeah, yeah. There was a question written. Firefly. It's P Chunha Dev. Oh, just to let you know. Sure. Small question. Is there a deadline for the studio? Everything ready? Yep. Uh, well, yes. There is always, when you have two parties engaged in a collaboration, one party, us, pushing for the deliveries that that will happen as soon as possible, and the studio is trying to uh, get a little bit more time. But what we are going to sort of probably agree, and I think what we want to work towards, is a solution where the studio will be delivering the visual elements in phases. So as soon as they have, let's say, updated logo and let's say a color scheme of our ecosystem, then that could be make public. Then they will be working, let's say, on designing the layout of the website. And what we also agreed that they would be sort of dropping some sneak peeks or work in progress visuals, how they are progressing and what they are working towards. So although they might be for the landing page, probably they will, for the complete like finalized landing page, they'll probably need, I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks altogether. But we don't want to wait all that long for let's say initiating the launch, because we would be then working with sort of intermediate versions of their vision, you could say, right, when it comes to the to the design. So that would be like this iterative process with the design studio. I mean, we understand they have a need, to sort of to create this artistic vision of our landing website, but we also want to sort of show progress, right, to the community. So we have to find a balance between the two. And yeah, and then essentially, the landing websites, I think it will not look as typical crypto blockchain website project. I mean, we want to propose something that is very novel, modern, punchy. I mean, something that is attractive to look at, not another crypto blockchain website that there are hundreds of already on the internet. But yeah, but they have done great work so far, the studio. I think they'll propose something very very attractive in the end. Let me see. There is some more questions. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, agree. I mean, yeah, exactly. I think these phases is probably the best way to go about it. Yeah, agree. All right, guys. Some more questions. So what do we have at the moment? No. Let's see. Maybe some more people join. And you, P Kunha, is it Kunha, P Kunha Dev? Um, are you are you involved in some of the dev works together with Glitch? Mhm. Oh, sorry, I just missed your raised hand. There you are. You can now join the stage.
So, hello,
Hi. Yep, you should be able.
can
Yeah,
you hear me now?
I
Yeah.
can hear you well.
So, yeah, basically, I'm starting working with Glitch. I'm a front-end developer, so
Hmm.
that's why I asked you about
Oh yeah, of
the
course. So it's
phrases thing.
very relevant. The design is very
So,
relevant
yeah,
then for you.
I just need that to start working, basically.
Hmm. I am.
But yeah, I'm kind of excited to jump on a Web3 project. It will be my first one. I'm starting to like studying the new tech related and seeing all the stuff. Uh, Glitch is giving some links and some tips.
Hmm. That's great.
But yeah, seems excited and can't wait basically.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I'm far from being or having any knowledge about, front end or back end, but is it just very, very basic questions then? Is it possible, like, when you build a website, right? I mean, you do your front end stuff, but basically then you leave sort of space, room for the design to come in future. So you build like, a frame for the website, but then the design is put on the top of it. I mean, that's how it works, or
So basically, I like to do a comparison by building a car.
yeah?
You have the designer and you have the engineer that builds the engine and the suspension and all those stuff.
Hmm.
And you have that guy on the line of the production that just uh, pick up the engine and pick up the doors and just merge everything and put everything working basically. So a
Mm.
front end does that. He picks up
Mm.
the design, he makes the design working basically, and he calls the API stuff from the backend and just get the site and get everything working. So it's kind of front end. It's kind of like a bridge between a backend and a designer. So yeah, we can always leave room to improvements. That's a main goal.
Mm.
We can build the things in a way that if I need to do for example, a change on the color schema and the primary color just changes, I can just swap a variable and change the whole website
Mm.
on that. So it all depends of the objectives or the goals for the website.
Yeah, makes sense. So finally, I understood. I mean, in a simple way, how websites are designed or built.
Yeah, I had to manage to explain in a simple way because, as you can expect, my parents and my girlfriend doesn't understand anything about coding stuff. So
Mm.
I have to learn how to explain it simply
Yeah, makes
to the
sense. Makes
others.
sense. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, great. So you have some, more questions or observations about the project?
Not really. I just jump on to listen
Hmm.
basically, and I just have that little question.
Of course.
I'm still working, so I'm just like uh, listening this like a podcast or something.
That makes sense. Right. Thanks. Thanks for your sort of.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. KG, do you have something else to ask, add, comment on? Mm,
Okay, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm all set. It was good to hear the updates, and seems like a lot of things are going on. So yeah, it seems like all good. Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome, guys.